Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I've got some preliminary results from my testing of the ANTOP over-the-air TV antenna. And I'll give you a quick slideshow with an overview of what I've done. Then I'll show you my setup one more time, and then I will go over the detailed test results. Here we go. Okay, here's my disclaimer. I'm not a professional in making YouTube videos, that's pretty obvious. I am not an antenna expert. Take everything I say and check it out for yourself. If you have corrections, please post them for everyone to see. If you want to email me, there is my email address. On with the show. Okay, I'm testing the ANTOP AT-800SBS antenna for receiving over-the-air TV stations and FM radio stations. At my particular location on the west coast of Florida, I have access to a number of the over-the-air TV stations. I noticed that the same channel number can be used by a number of stations. Like a station in Tampa might have channel 13, and a station in Orlando across Florida from me might have a 13 also, but this could prevent receiving that distant station if it's on the same channel. So hopefully when I try to do some DXing later, I won't run into that problem. Also, stations can have many subchannels, i.e. channel 10-1, -2, -3, etc. They're also designated as 10.1, 10.2, etc. And I have one particular channel that I received had 7 subchannels. It appears that some subchannels are not always broadcast, so they may be on the air, may not be on the air. There may be some errors in my test results, but overall they should be valid. My test results should be valid. You'll see that later. With this antenna, the AT-800SBS from ANTOP, I did not see a significant increase in the number of channels received when I turned the built-in amplifier on versus taking the amplifier out of the loop and just hooking the cable directly to my receiver. There was some increase, but not a significant amount. This may be, I'm guessing here, I'm no expert, may be related to the receiver I was using. As you know, when you're shortwave radio, you might have an RF gain, and sometimes turning it up higher makes the signal less because you're over modulating the receiver. I also noticed that this antenna was a little directional in that it was good for about 120 degrees. If you got a station that was out of that band area, then it either was much lower in amplitude or was not picked up at all. The signal levels might improve with a higher grade coax cable. I noticed the coax cable was not the highest grade, which it was acceptable, but I just, that's a possibility. Or maybe shortening it as much as possible. Now, they sent it with 40 feet of cable. I only needed about 25. So as you saw in the previous video, I had that extra cable just coiled up. It may not have been a good idea. I really liked the appearance of the antenna, so it could be used indoors. It wasn't an ugly piece of metal. It was a plastic case, molded, really looked nice. There are many other antennas available from ANTOP in this realm for over-the-air TV and for FM and other things. All right. Conclusions so far. This is just so far. I really enjoyed looking into OTA TV. I hadn't done that in years. My cable bill is going out of sight, so I'm looking at maybe cutting it back some or Well, I can't cut it back totally. Wife wouldn't let me do that. No way. Anyway, I learned a lot about OTA, but there's a lot yet for me to learn. The antenna itself, packing, was awesome. It took me 20 minutes to unpack it. Everything was wrapped within plastic and wrapped in other packing material. It was really well packed. The antenna appearance, the physical appearance, was great and would look fine in your living room or den if you could not put it outside. Some people can't have an outside antenna due to deed restrictions, due to the fact that they live in an apartment building, or they just don't want to go out and climb up on a ladder and get on the roof. So you could put this antenna in your room and it doesn't look like a piece of metal. The antenna reception was very good. I'm going to do some more testing, and I'm going to go test some other functions of this antenna. I hope to get to test more of these antennas that are in a different price range. This one was not the most expensive, but it was near the top. ANTOP has a wide variety of antennas for over-the-air TV. Future, this is what I plan yet to do, is move the antenna outside. I will need some help on my neighbor to mount the antenna on the roof. I don't do very good on ladders anymore. This antenna is also designed for reception of FM stations, which I plan to test. Do some FM DX. This antenna might be used as a general purpose VHF and UHF antenna for using my scanner and scanning those bands for utility stations, business stations, whatever. But it does have some filtering circuitry in it, which might cause me not to be able to receive certain bands, like the cell phone bands. Again, ANTOP has a number of other antennas that I'd like to test. Okay. Have a great day. That's not, no, don't go away. Now we're going to look at my test setup. Let me get out of here. And we'll go to here. And we'll go to here. This is, and I've showed you these a couple of shows ago. This is the receiver, or they call it the converter box, to receive over-the-air TV, digital TV. And the reason I like this one is it has a HDMI output that I've connected to one of my computer monitors. It also can do recording and act as a DVR. So you plug right here, there's a USB port. You can plug in a USB dongle or a USB hard drive. Okay, the antenna I'm using is this one right here. And if you go back, and if you haven't seen it, watch my previous video. I actually show you pictures of it set up in my room. Now, the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to look for possible stations that I might receive. So one of the places I went is rabbitears.info. And you can get a listing or you can get a map. Right now I'm showing the map, and you put in your location, which is mine is right there, and you can put in the distance you wanted to predict that stations that you could receive. So I went to max, which is 110. So here's stations out in the Orlando area. And then here's the stations color-coded that I most likely would be able to receive, which I have. At the ANTOP website, they also have the map. Their map doesn't go out as far. So I think it goes out about 35 miles. So these are the stations I should be able to receive. Now, since, as I mentioned before, the antenna is a little directional, I have to make a choice. Do I want to receive stations down here, of which there are many, or do I want to receive this one station up here? I would have to rotate the antenna to get this one if I have it pointed down here. All right, now let's get to the nitty-gritty details. So here's the spreadsheet I set up. I captured this data from that website that I showed you, Rabbit Ears. And it's got a lot of information in it. It's got channel number, call sign, network, community of license. This is where the license is, not necessarily where the transmitter is. It's got distance to the transmitter, the actual transmitter. It's got direction to the transmitter, both true and magnetic, possible field strength. So a given transmitter might be closer to you, but have less power. So that would affect your signal. And then signal margin. And then here are the tests I did. I tested the antenna in my office, and I told you that was not a good idea because of all the electronics in my office are going to interfere with reception. And it did. Then I put the antenna in my, what I call green room, which is next to my office, used the 40-foot cable to connect it up, and then I pointed the antenna at 45 degrees. This is relative to north. At 90 degrees, due east from me. At 135 degrees, southeast, south, and I even reversed it to have it backwards from 135, because 135, as you saw from that previous map, is where most of the stations are near me. Then I did a scan, used the receiver to scan all the possible channels and find what it could receive. If the square here is blank, that means it did not find a signal at all. If it's got a D in it, it found the signal, but the signal was having a lot of dropouts. If it's green and has a number, that means it received signals. They were strong, no dropouts. That's good. And the number indicates how many sub-channels I received. I hope I explained that properly. Okay. And one of the things you want to keep an eye on is not necessarily the license location, but the transmitter distance and the direction. All right, so we come down here, and nobody received 2-1. I didn't get any of those. Those are possibly in Daytona Beach, Orlando, and Ocala. Long distance from me, 100 miles. I didn't get any of those. The first channel I did receive was in Tampa transmitter, about 32 miles from me, and it's 106 degrees or southeast from me. And at 45 degrees, so it was pointing away from it, I got it, but it was dropping out. 90 degrees, still dropping out. 135, still dropping out. Then when I pushed it all the way down to 180 and 315, I got 6 channels. I don't understand why I got 6 channels when I was pointed 315 as opposed to 135. Now, conditions change during the day. I noticed that. So I might miss a channel, and if I did another scan, I'll catch it. I did repeated scans in the same direction to try to eliminate that. It didn't always eliminate that. So then we come down. So you see, I missed a whole bunch of them here. But these are far away, except here's one, WFLA, I didn't receive. It's only 32 miles away. I'm not sure why I didn't receive that one. So other little confusion factor. Then we come down. I did receive St. Petersburg. It's only 32. The transmitter is only 32 miles. The direction is 109. when I had it pointed at 180, I did receive the channel, but I have dropouts. Same way with 315. Okay, coming down. Here's 13-1, Fox TV. It's in Tampa, 34 miles. I did receive it. Lots of dropouts. Here's Largo. It's only 4.8. The transmitter is only 4.8 miles from me, but I only got it at 180 and 315. So that was kind of surprising. So that's one thing that I've concluded, that if you logically think, okay, it's not far away, and I got the antenna pointing in the right direction, you're going to receive the station. Not always the case. Now, could be that the station was no longer there. Some of these transmitters have dropped out, and they're no longer transmitting. That could be the case. Okay, we'll do Tampa here, channel 15.1. That was a pretty strong station. I got that at 45 degrees. I didn't get it at 90. I got it at 135 and got 180. So we'll quickly go through here. Here's another strong station. 32 miles from me. Another strong station. You can pause this video when you're watching it and look at some of these numbers. Here's another strong station. Channel 33 in St. Petersburg, 9.2 miles. I received it no matter how I pointed the antenna. Another St. Pete one. Here's another St. Pete one. Here's another Tampa one. And this says it's in Venice, but it says it's only 32 miles from me. I did receive 5 sub-channels on that. Pretty good. And then here we got Bradenton. That's 32 miles. I got that. I didn't get that at 90 degrees, and I didn't get it at 135. I did get it at 45. So just bear in mind, this is kind of raw data. Here is the sum of the stations that I received when it was pointed in each direction. In my office, I did receive 12 stations without dropouts. When it was pointed at 45 degrees, I received 57. At 90 degrees, 43. At 135, 76, which was the best. At 180, I got 54. And then at 315, I only got 10. So, as I concluded before, southeast is the direction I want that antenna pointed to get the most stations. Now, like I said before, the beauty of this antenna, if you have it in-house, and like I had one station that is north of me that I couldn't receive. I don't know where it is in this list. I could just walk over and turn it and then watch that station and turn it back if I want to. In order to do that outside, you're going to have the pole that you can rotate manually or use a rotator. So all in all, with as many stations as I've received, I was fairly impressed with the reception, and this was indoors. All this test was done indoors. So what do you think? If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up and have a great day. Bye-bye. More to come.